Find out by joining Lloyd straight away at house number 2 as we go through the keyhole.
Coming into the hall, we see what could be, I suppose, an ancestral portrait. This sitting room is very glamorous in a sort of Joan Collins Hollywood style. It's got big, curvy, white leather sofas, for example. Now, you can see that someone in this household likes getting their entertainment electronically. There's a whole bank of remote controls here. But at the same time, they're also very much aware of the great traditions of show business. Clowning around is important in this household, and there's a special devotion to some of the great screen clowns like Laurel and Hardy. Certainly this is a northern household. Just look at this statuette of the last shift. Someone around here is very interested in getting from A to B either as quickly or as interestingly as possible. So they've got a collection here of old-fashioned automobiles, and there are racing cars, motorbikes, and even a toy Dodger. Here in the study, this family's humorous proclivities are pretty apparent. After all, they've got plenty of joke books, a whole library of them, including titles like The Great Big Fat Giant Joke Book and The Bumper Book of 3001 Jokes. There are also books by Jim Davidson and the Two Ronnies. So clowning around is part of someone's livelihood here. Maybe they're after-dinner speakers or something like that. Once again in this room, we see an interest in the older, wider world of show business. So there are books here on dance and a memoir by Bernard Delfont. But really, calling this room a study is not quite accurate. It is, in fact, a music room. And it's the music room of a very, very keen guitarist. Someone who's so keen that he collects miniature guitars. But really, he seems to be a bit of a hard rocker, particularly devoted to the American Gibson guitar. But obviously, judging by the banjos, he dabbles a bit in folk music as well. Now, certainly this person likes making recordings. There are loads of demo tapes around here and all the electronic gear for mixing and matching whatever sounds you can think of. This bedroom is certainly very well equipped with mirrors, and you can tell from all the scissors and combs and brushes and makeup that image and presentation is very important in this household. There are more signs in here of that love of pop music, a beautiful old photo of John Lennon. Now let's look at the evidence. A comic portrait, The Last Shift, The Music Man. Who lives in a house like this? David, it's over to you.
Well, thank you, Lloyd. And now for our home and studio audience, here's whose house it is. Chris, we begin with you.
Whoever it is, I think is fairly young. It's only just got on the scene, sort of thing. I was interested in the sort of like the clowning around aspect and the joke book. So whoever it is, I think is a stage performer, does a live act, does something like that.
Well done. Vanessa.
Well, he seems like a true Renaissance gentleman because he seems to be good at everything. I mean, he's obviously very funny and he's obviously very musical at the same time. So is he one of the kind of all-round variety kind of acts that you don't see very often these days?
Yes, I don't know that he is more the thing you've picked on already, comedy than music, I think, really. And also, Bobby, I don't know if this is true of you, whenever we go to someone's house in comedy, there is always a statuette of Laurel and Hardy. Have you got one?
No, but funny enough you mentioned this. I was looking around the house there, and he had a lot of things that I have, like all the comedy books and the recording stuff, and I have a feeling I might know who this guy is. I'd like to ask a couple of questions. I think he's a northerner. Because of the coal mining statue there, he's either a Mancunian or a Yorkshireman or yeah. He's also won a couple of nice awards there that I noticed in his study. And I recognise one because I have one of those awards as well. And don't know whether it was for the same thing. I think I might know who it is, actually.
And if I were to start speaking like that, I might... would that be a bit of a clue? I might just have a chuffing idea who it might be.
All right. I'll hand on. With that reaction, I think I know definitely who it is.
Well,
Give me more, give me more.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very tough and upset to be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm very tough and upset because I am tough and upset.
So will you give us the name?
I'll tell you when.
It's got to be my mate, Billy Pearce.
It is.
Yeah.
Billy Pearce, will you come through the keyhole? Lovely to see you, Billy. Come and take a seat. Well now, the boy Davro did the trick there, didn't he?
Yeah, it's so nice. I've actually been round his house because he was a bit... he's a lunatic, this bloke, because he's older than I am, only by about a year.
Actually, I am.
And he broke his leg. He fell off. He rides motorbikes, David, and he broke his leg, what, a year ago, 2 years ago now?
About 2 years ago,
Oh,
yeah.
that was when you were in Panto, wasn't
I was actually jumping 14 motorbikes in a double-decker bus and somebody rang the bell. Yeah, bust me foot in now.
And I went round to see him, and he was hobbling around his kitchen, so I've actually been round the house, but I wouldn't have recognised him.
Has he done it up a bit?
No, he didn't.
Tidied it up.
He didn't let me in. He just kept me in the porch.
Well, you've got to sit in the car, haven't you?
Yeah. When did you really know you were going to go into show business? I mean, you had quite a tough childhood, didn't you? Quite a painful childhood.
Well, my dad died 2 years before I was born, and... he was typical Yorkshireman. I used to call a spade till he fell over one once. And, 14 children in my family. My dad didn't know where to stick a twist. But, yeah,
Can you slow down a bit, Billy? I can't get things down.
yeah, well, actually, I was brought up... my family was a bit show-busy, really. My mum's a dancing teacher. My dad's... he's up there now. He's nicking the lead off the roof. But he's gone now, my dad. But he was a concert pianist. And my mum used to do all these amateur shows in Leeds, like the Leeds Thespians. You've got to be careful how you say that. So I was a thespian for a while. And... and so I was kind of brought up with it. And then we went to... Me and this other chap went to Butlins as redcoats, and we used to catch... people climbing over the fence and then send them back to finish their holidays, you know.
Very wise, very wise. And what sort of act did you do? What sort of act was it?
Well, because my mum's a dancing teacher and I was brought up musically speaking, which is where the music comes from, I was doing a song and dance act, so we used to do things like a Jolton medley and the old soft shoe and a tap routine and things like that, you know. So it was and we used to play guitars, banjos and ukuleles and a bit of keyboard. So it was a very kind of across-the-board sort of act. But in them days, you used to do 3 spots in the club, so you needed as much material as you could possibly get.
And musical material's easier to fill in with, yeah. And
Yeah.
But when did you decide to go solo then, Billy?
Well, I think there was a couple of occasions. I remember once going to this club and I was in this song and dance act, and because we used to do 3 spots, we had all these little best bits that we used to do, what we should call your point numbers. But because we were only doing 1 spot in cabaret, we put all these best bits into 1 spot. Well, it was a killer. I was doing all these backflips and tap dancing and everything. I couldn't get my breath when I came off. And a comic went on after us, and he just leaned on the mic stand and got all the laughs and all that. And I thought, hang on a minute. I thought, I'm going wrong here somewhere. I'm going to be dead by the time I'm 40. So that's when I thought about doing comedy. That's how I started, really.
As a labour-saving device.
Yeah, well, yeah, not only that as well, because in the working men's clubs, if you did a tap routine and the organist and drummer, I mean, most of them are great, but some of them, you know, they're a bit rumpty-tumpty, Fred and Albert. And so you'd have to kind of miss things out and talk. Yeah, I found if you could tell a few jokes, you could miss some of these awkward things that you knew these guys wouldn't be able to play at the back of you. And you could miss them out and tell a few jokes instead. So it kind of snowballed from there.
Bobby there was mentioning the accident you had when you were with the leg. But what was the horrific accident you had before that? You had another motorbike accident.
I did, yeah.
When was that? That was really horrific.
Yes, I was 16, and it's just where these studios are here. There's a road called Burley Road, just at the back there. And I used to live just up there, so I've always kind of lived around this area. And I was coming down towards Leeds, and a chap ran into me, and I flew right up in the air and landed on a keep left sign on my chest. Yeah. So it's quite good. So it took quite a long time to remove that. And so yeah, I had a lot of serious damage. I had 2/3 of my liver out, my spleen, and I put my ribs through my lungs, and I damaged my kidneys, and I had a lot of problems after that. It went on for about 10 years, really. So I've got loads of scars and everything. So I shouldn't really be going on motorbikes, should I?
No. I think you're a fool to yourself. Really.
I know I am. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but you only live once, don't you?
In your case, twice, really.
Yeah.
Now, I read a thing that you wanted to start a northern school of line dancing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What exactly is that?
Well, you know what line dancing is, obviously. It's a load of lions and they all get together and dance. What happened was, I started going to America. I've been about 3 or 4 times now, not as many times as you have probably, but I've gone over there and I really love it. And I saw this line dancing starting to take off a few years ago. And of course, with me being brought up in the dancing school thing, I thought, ka-ching, you know, it's going to be really a big thing to take off. Everybody laughed at me at the time, but of course it has taken off. It's too late now. There's obviously all these schools everywhere. But the people that I know, my sister and a lot of the girls that helped me mum with the dancing school, they would be able to pick it up. You know, you could send them out to America, pick it all up. I've got all the ideas of selling the merchandise and everything, having the evenings, changing the money into dollars when they came in and all that. Oh, I had it all off to a T, but once again, I'm just full of ideas and nothing ever happens, you know?
What other ideas? What other ideas have you got now that so far nothing's happened with?
I've got different. One of them I'd like to do more of a family show next year rather than. I've been touring doing adult stuff for the last 4 years. So when I say it's adult, it's kind of cheeky as opposed to it being like some of the guys who've used a lot of swear words. So I feel as if it's time to move on a little bit from that and go back to, you know, more of the family side of it, which went a few years ago, as Bobby will tell you. You know, the summer season side of it tends to have disappeared over the last 4 or 5 years. But I do think there's a bit of a market there for it now, so that's something that I think I'd like to go into. And I love me recording. I've done a CD and an album, and all that's been done, you know, in me. It sounds like I've done it in my garage, which is wrong, really, because I did it in my bedroom.
And I think you could market those shirts, you know, too. They're very memorable stuff, those shirts.
Yes, I'm wearing it for a bet, actually.
It's very, very fetching. I don't know what it'll fetch, but anyway, here we go.
No, is he being...
Well, I'll tell you what, if you go in Tesco's wearing it, it's the same price as a tin of baked beans.
There's 2 things I like about him, and it's his face.
Well, here is a Through the Keyhole key, Billy. That's our way of saying thanks a million for being with us.
Thank you.
Stay off a motorbike.
I will.
And thanks a million for being here. Billy Pearce.
Thank you very much, David. It's very great. Thank you very much.
Really good. Our thanks to Billy Pearce, and of course to Rosemary, and our thanks to Bobby, to Vanessa, and to Chris. Until the next time, goodbye for now.